Game ain't over. The sun is shining. And it ain't over.
You wanted the best, you got the best from my home studio on freezing Long Island, New York right now. Welcome to Ian Scotto Rocks. I am your host, Ian Scotto, and today we have an update for you regarding Stephen Pearcy and Warren DeMartini reuniting to play all of the classic Ratt songs. A lot of you really liked the first video I did on this, which was a bit of a deep dive into the chaotic history of that band and all the lawsuits that went on that have led us up to this point where these two guys are going to be touring and playing the hits and probably some deep tracks, but not under the name Ratt. Now, the day that I posted this video, I believe, Warren DeMartini and Stephen Pearcy went on Eddie Trunk, and they had a conversation, admittedly, for the first time since announcing that they would be reuniting at M3 in Maryland, and they revealed some things. For one, they sounded really happy to be joining forces, like genuinely happy to be doing this again, not just a cash grab or something, but they spoke about who is going to be in the band. And that's covered right here in this article, as you'll see. This is from Classic Rock and Culture, ultimateclassicrock.com. And this was pretty interesting about who's going to be in the band. So as it says, joining them will be former Ratt and Quiet Riot guitarist Carlos Cavasso. That's kind of a given, at least for the past quite a number of years now. Anytime the members of Ratt get together and do something again, Carlos Cavasso seems to be their go-to guy for the second guitarist position. And then they mention Matt Thor, who I don't personally know on bass. I believe that he's been touring with Stephen Pearcy, but then the interesting thing here is on drums, Blas Elias. And if you listen to Pearcy on Eddie Trunk, he said that Blas has been playing with them for a while. As many of you know, Blas is the original drummer for Slaughter. He rejoined Slaughter not too long ago. Doesn't seem to be touring with them right now. But I was completely unaware that Blas was playing with Stephen Pearcy. And I just saw Stephen Pearcy right before the new year play the Whiskey A Go-Go in December. And I think it was just because it was so packed. I don't drink, so it wasn't like I was drunk, guys. I didn't even notice who was on drums. And I'm really shocked that I didn't notice it was Blas Elias on drums because he's a phenomenal drummer. But that's really cool. I just don't recall seeing him behind the kit. I think it was just so packed and I wasn't able to see everything going on and have a full vantage point the whole time that I was kind of focused on Stephen Pearcy. The band sounded tremendous, but I just didn't notice it was Blas Elias behind the kit. So that's a pretty killer band. But here's the other update that's kind of crazy. So I mentioned Jason Green on the original video that I did, who's been managing Pearcy, and I was really surprised to see on his Instagram the announcement for this Rock the Dam in Kentucky, Beaver Dam Amphitheater, and it has Pearcy and DeMartini performing Ratt. Also opening as Slaughter. That's kind of interesting because I guess that won't be Blas Elias on drums and he'll be playing with those guys. And then LA Guns, Vixen, Steelheart. I'm actually kind of surprised to see Slaughter higher on the bill than LA Guns personally, but that's neither here nor there. But the reason this is kind of crazy is because Pearcy and DeMartini playing M3 Fest, other than David Lee Roth, was supposed to be the big get. Like, these are the guys on the festival, so come out here because you're not going to see them anywhere else. At least that's how they'd present them as a promoter, because you want people to make the trek to Maryland. And people go from all over the country to see the M3 festival. So I would have thought if these guys were planning on doing more shows, the smart thing as a promoter to do for the guys behind M3 Fest would say, look, if you want to do other shows, that's fine, but you can't announce them prior to M3 Festival. Because now that they're playing Kentucky, people who may be on the fence about going to M3 Fest and the big get being Pearcy and DeMartini, they might go, I'll just wait until they come near me. You know, because a lot of those bands on M3 Fest, if I look at this lineup again, are people who who play all the time. So this was supposed to be the big draw of the festival, right? So if you look at this lineup, Sebastian Bach tours all the time. David Lee Roth, he's a big name that they're getting. Except Winger, Slaughter, Steven Adler. If you live in a major city, these are guys you could see throughout the year. They play casino dates. They fly in. Ace Frehley, same thing. Warrant, Great White, Lita Ford, Vixen. None of these bands are really rare to see. So I would think the promoters behind M3 Fest would have said, do not announce anything until after M3 because we want people to come out for this. And I think it's going to kind of screw up their draw because if they're playing Kentucky, they're probably going to play everywhere else. Look, as for me, I saw Stephen Pearcy January of 2024, and then I saw him again in December in LA. So I'm not looking to go all the way out to Maryland to see this. And especially now that I know there's going to be other dates, I could probably catch this elsewhere. So look, good on those guys getting other dates. But I would say bad on the promoters of M3 Fest not having some type of stipulation in their contract. But anyway, it looks like even if you're not going to M3 Fest and you don't want to make the trek to Maryland, have no fear because I would assume if you live near any major city, you're going to be able to see those guys. If you're 3 hours from a major city, they'll probably be playing somewhere around you. Like for me, I'm on Long Island. I'm sure they'll do a date maybe at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut or somewhere in New Jersey. So you really don't have to make the trek to M3 Fest. And now the only thing to be excited for that you won't get anywhere else is David Lee Roth. And then who knows, maybe he'll announce some dates. Anyway, as I always say, please subscribe to the show because we're doing more than just rock news. We have deep dives, we have commentary on things, and we're making this into a movement. And that's why we have some great limited edition merchandise. Check that out on both sides. Available on the website. T-shirts, mugs, all of that is in the Etsy store. But be sure to leave your comment on this video. Let me know what you think. I mean, if any of you guys were on the fence about going to M3 Fest, maybe you're not going to go now because they're going to be doing shows elsewhere, especially if you're in Kentucky. Now you know you could see them in July. But with that, check out this video up here so you could binge watch more of the great content that I'll be providing you with right here on Ian Scotto Rocks.